what's up? Like I have touched on in my previous videos, I've been pretty much overweight my entire childhood life and my adult life. I am going to be 28 in a couple weeks, but I first understood that I was overweight when I was in summer camp. I went to a summer camp every summer called Camp Laughing Loon. I started going there when I was probably 6, I think, 5 or 6. And when I was there as a young child, I was actually pretty small. I used to wear a bikini when we would play kickball at sports and games. No one would ever say anything to me. I remember seeing photos of myself at that age, and I was tiny. I was just a normal young girl, and I was totally comfortable being myself. This boy I had a crush on for summers. I'm talking like 4 or 5 summers. I just thought he was the cutest thing. We were friends. It was just one of those first time crushes. And that summer going back, I remember going up to him. He was sitting in an A-frame. He was having a snack. I was having a snack. And at that point, my mom, she used to bring me to this convenience store right down the street from where we used to live in the morning, and I could pick any kind of snack I wanted to bring with me to summer camp in my lunch. And at that point, I didn't realize that I was usually choosing candy. I mean, I wasn't choosing granola bars or anything like that. When your mom says, hey, go ahead and pick what you want, I was picking chocolates and candies and things like that. And I went up to him and I was eating my candy and he was eating whatever snack he was having. And he said to me, wow, you've gotten big. And to see him, the boy I really thought about all summer, couldn't wait to see. And he said, wow, you've gotten big. And I kind of played it off as a joke. I remember being like, what did he just say? Did he mean that I grew up into like a beautiful woman, or did he really mean that I gotten big? So to this day, it has haunted me. Anytime I'm feeling bad about myself, I hear him saying that to me. At that point, I was definitely over 150 pounds, I would think. I wasn't very active during the summer, before summer camp. So I had friends outside that I used to play with and chum around with, but we never like ran or did any kind of strenuous activities. I always was outside. You know, we always played outside, my sister and I, with our friends in the block, but I don't ever remember doing anything that would constitute as exercise at that age. You just don't think about it. So even though I was outside, I had been gaining weight, and it's no secret, my mom had dealt with alcoholism when I was a child. My family was kind of like, here, have this, eat this, we want you to be happy. And they never did it maliciously. And our gatherings a lot of the time revolved around the amazing food they would cook, and we would eat all together, and it would just be happy. Those memories are all happy for me. So even though it didn't register with me that I was probably eating things I shouldn't be, I was. So I had gotten big, and he said that to me, and it has haunted me. That was really when I started to think about my weight, and I would look at myself in the mirror at that point and think, you know, is this something that people want to see? I ended up moving in with my father. At that point, it was the end of the school year of 6th grade, and I was going to be starting a new school, 7th grade. I had a best friend there. We all got really close with her group of friends, and by the time I started school, I had a group of really close friends and a guy friend that, again, was very, very close to me. I could say he was probably like my first love, as far as the kind of love you can have when you're in your teens. And anyway, I started school, and I really started to be concerned with my weight, but I never thought about losing weight. My parents had never said anything to me. Again, my parents were divorced. My dad had a wife, and my mom had a boyfriend, but they had never said anything to me about my weight, that it was concerning to them, that they were going to try to do anything about it. My sister as well is very overweight. No one ever said anything to her, and these were conversations I never heard. When I went to the doctor, nobody ever said anything to me about being overweight. I just never knew. I was aware that my body, I just wasn't comfortable with it, but no one ever told me I had to lose weight. So I started school and I really started to weigh myself. I had gone from, a really small child, and then I crept up to the 150s. Around 7th grade, I was, I think, 180. And it kind of just crept up 10 pounds every year. And I just became more and more uncomfortable. I had a great group of friends in junior high and high school, and no one ever discussed my weight. I knew I was the big girl, but I was also the really funny girl in school. Everybody liked being around me because I would crack jokes, and not at my own expense ever, but I would just try to be funny, and people liked me. I don't ever remember there being a lot of cliques in high school. We kind of all just talked to each other. There were a couple mean girls, maybe a mean guy or two along the way through to graduation, but I really don't remember ever them getting to me on a level where it caused me any emotional stress. I was depressed at that point, and I had been dealing with anxiety my entire life. So I would see a counselor at school, but our conversations never dealt with my weight. They were never about how I felt about my body, how I felt about how other people saw me. And I had boyfriends throughout, my young life and junior high and high school. Again, the type of boyfriends you have when you're that age. We used to hang out after school sometimes, but it never got further than, a normal young childhood relationship. So I never thought that guys didn't like me. It was always just something that when it came around and a guy showed interest, and maybe we dated, maybe we didn't, but I never thought, well, I'm too big to have a boyfriend, or I'm too big to have anybody care about me. So it just, again, never crossed my mind. So I graduated high school, and I remember being asked to go and fill out a form for my graduation gown and cap. And on that form, you had to put your weight down in order for them to give you a gown that fit. And my friends and I were all going to go together and fill out our forms, and it was going to be a happy, little event there. But I remember going before my friends and making up some excuse because I didn't want them to see the weight I put down on my sheet. And at that point, I think I was 225 pounds. This was my senior year of high school. I was 18. And it crushed me having to do that. This was supposed to be an extremely fun, emotional, happy time. And I had to do that alone because I was so afraid that my closest friends were going to see the number that I put down on my graduation form. So that just really hurt. And throughout this time, I had jobs and I was doing things outside of school. I had got my license. And I honestly think getting my license was a blessing, but also a curse at the time when I got it, because I would drive to fast food places and get takeout, or, Dunkin' Donuts, or things that were just easily accessible in my area. At that point in high school, senior year, I lived with my stepsister. My father moved to Las Vegas with his wife, so I was basically on my own for a little while, but then my stepsister moved in with me. We lived together with her boyfriend and her young son. And, I didn't have any kind of parenting. I was an adult at that point. I did what I wanted. I came and go as I pleased, and I never thought about what I was putting in my mouth. So right now, I've been vegetarian for about 4.5 years consistently. But throughout high school, I did go through periods of time when I would be vegetarian, I wouldn't eat meat. But when I was eating meat, I was eating McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, any kind of burger joint I used to love to go to. I never liked to eat in because I didn't want people to see me eating, but I would frequently go to those places. KFC. Oh, it's just so sad thinking about all the places I used to go to. And I remember it got to a point where I would be going to McDonald's and ordering 2 Big Macs, and each of those burgers has like 3 patties, 3 buns, and I would eat 2 of them with extra mac sauce, and I would feel so sick after I ate them, but I forced myself to eat. And that was the point when I realized, like, I maybe had a binge eating issue. I would buy a bunch of food and just want to eat it until I felt sick. I never threw up, but I would just want to feel that fullness, that satisfaction of, I have control over this. I'm going to put it in my body and make myself feel this way, because my life was kind of spiraling out of control at that point, and it was something I had control over. And my adult mind now thinks that it's ridiculous, but I know I still struggle with it today. There are times when something just tastes so good to me that I don't want to stop until I'm like physically so full it hurts. So that's going to be one of those things that I'm going to struggle with, I think, after surgery. It'll help me if I do get that full feeling. I'm hoping I do get that. So I know when to stop myself. But if I'm stressed or I've got a lot of stuff going on, I know I push it sometimes to limits where I shouldn't. And that happened and started for me when I was just a teenager. So when I was that young, I never thought that it was an issue. But obviously, as I know more, as age and knowledge and stuff grows, it's just so sad to know that I've dealt with this for my entire life. So it's really tough. It's really tough thinking about the things I'm going to have to overcome that have always been with me that I never really thought were issues, but are issues today. So another thing that gets to me sometimes, I see my friends from high school that we don't really keep in touch anymore. I did have a core group of best friends. One of them unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, but the others, we kind of just grew apart, and that's normal. You know, you don't always stay close with the people you go to high school with, and that's fine. I do talk to some of my friends from high school. One of them came to my wedding, which was great, but that's really not the point. I mean, I can talk to anybody I want to online. Facebook has been great, but seeing where they're at in their lives does sometimes get me down. I went to school with a couple of girls who were really close to my size. Actually, one of them was a lot larger than me when I was in high school, and I see them now and they've lost their weight. They're beautiful women, and I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy that where they are at in their lives, they've accomplished so much, and it sucks being that, you know, envious, because I don't know when that happened, but I see them now and I'm so jealous that they somehow got their lives together, and I just couldn't seem to get this one aspect of my life in place at a healthy point in my life, and now I have to resort to surgery. So that bums me out a little bit. I'm sure other people can understand that. You know, this is not a first choice. It is one of my last resorts here. And it's a hard thing to explain to people who haven't seen you in years, you know, why you're choosing to do this. And I think so-called coming out and explaining to people that you're having weight loss surgery, I've never hidden it. If someone has asked me the surgery that I've been discussing with my friends at work or whatever, and they ask me what it is, what I'm having, I've never hidden it. I've told them that I'm having weight loss surgery, and they are curious, and I've gotten some advice from my therapist that I've been working with through this program, the nutritionist, the bariatric staff, of what to say to these people when they ask you about your surgery, when they have their own judgments. But honestly, sometimes that their cues, their comebacks, it goes out the window when you're faced in a situation that you maybe didn't prepare yourself mentally for at that moment. And it's been tough when people ask me about it. I definitely want to be open that I'm having it, because this is going to be a tool that I'll use for the rest of my life, and it deserves the credit, because I have not been able to get this weight off myself. And I don't want to hide that. I don't want to feel ashamed that I'm taking this road. It isn't anything to be ashamed about. There are people that have a lot of things going on in their lives, and it is just impossible to lose the weight that they need to lose in a time that it's going to be healthy for them, where other problems won't arise. And I've had these problems arise for me, and I just can't do it anymore. So, but yeah. So that was just a little bit more background. There are events in my life that have happened when I was a child that I didn't think too much about until now, until this point. of actually deciding to get gastric bypass and thinking about when I first realized I was overweight, when I first realized it might be an issue. Again, I don't want to blame anybody, because really you have yourself to blame, but I mean, I honestly think a lot of this on my part was ignorance. I was never educated about my weight. The doctors that I would see never once told me that I had to lose weight. Actually, my PCP that I see now, I've gone to her for 2 or 3 years, and I've been extremely overweight. My highest weight was 316.6, and I was never once told by her that I should lose weight, that I should be doing something to change. No one had ever said that to me my entire life, and I really wish that they would have said something to me at a younger age. I know a lot of people have problems saying things like that to children because you don't want to be mean or rude, but this could have saved my life a long time ago, and now I have to resort to being put under the knife because I'm just incapable of losing this weight on my own. And if I had never gotten to this point, you know, when I was young and was going to summer camp and I was in that bikini, and then things started going AWOL in my life, if I would have had some counseling or guidance at that point, I think I would be in a totally different place in my life. Now, as weird as some people may think this is, I don't feel like if I had grown up skinny or smaller, that I would be the same person that I am today. And it's really hard to say, like, I don't think I would want to change the way my life turned out, the way it happened for me. I shouldn't say how it turned out, but how it happened. I don't think I would go back if I could and be a smaller child, because the way I am now, I respect everyone. I would never judge anybody by their weight. I don't know them. I don't know what they've gone through. I cannot judge someone by their appearance, because you just have no idea all the things that they've gone through. You didn't know about the boy that told me I had been big in my summer camp. You don't know that I had to put on a form my weight at a graduation orientation alone because I was so afraid that my friends would see how much I weighed. There are just things you don't know that really affect someone's psyche, and I would never judge anyone for what they can't control. And if people say that you can control your weight, I'm sure there will be some people in comments that would say that. That is not always true. And it's ignorance saying that. It's just pure ignorant. So, as far as who I am as a human being, I don't think I would be the same person if I had grown up smaller. And I would never change that. But right now, in my adult life, I need to get healthy. I need to change the way I have a relationship with food and the way I can live. I mean, I need to have a long life. I have so much going on. I love my nephew, my family, my husband. I want a family with him. I just want to live. And this isn't living. So I'm having my gastric bypass in 2018. Sorry for the bumps. I'm in kind of a bad area. But again, I just want to say that I am here for you guys. If you need support, if you need anyone to talk to about anything, if you have questions, concerns, comments, anything, feel free to discuss this with me. I'm going to be here throughout my entire journey and on. And I'm here for you guys. I understand I go through a lot of these ups and down moments in my life. I've gone through these ups and downs my entire life. And it's not going to be an easy road. And we're all here for each other. The people that are following these videos, that watch these kind of videos, we're all here for the same thing. We need support. We need people that we didn't have growing up. We will all get through this. So, thanks for watching, you guys. Follow if you want. Subscribe. You can like my videos. I will like yours, follow you, subscribe to you on your journeys. I'm so proud of you guys. Keep it up. Keep going. You can do it. We're all here for each other. Stay strong.